What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are working on tearing down the drift car to make the other drift car a drift car. You know, simple things. Mainly what we're doing is we're tearing the subframe out. Basically unbolting here, bolting there, undoing the 8 bolts on each side. Sorry. Yeah, 4 bolts on each side, 8 bolts total. And dropping the whole subframe out. I'm going to jack the front of the car up and roll it out so we can roll it right into the other car and have ourselves a rolling front half. So once the IRS is ready to go, the other car will be a roller and then we can put the cage in it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on ripping this out. I forgot to hit record when I walked away to go get a dolly. I forgot to hit record, but it's in there. Holy shit, that thing is heavy and it is hot out. Now to tote it over to the new car, which is over on the side of that box truck on the side of my shop way out in the field. And it's currently underwater. I'll show you what I mean. Pardon the lawnmower sounds, but yeah, here in Florida, it has rained non-stop every day for like the past 4 weeks, and my yard is underwater. So like you can see, I brought the trailer over here with my front end in it. If you look, that is all standing muddy water, and that's the shell. You can see he's got the mower, the one we rented because my current mower is broken because of all how wet everything's been, is over there. It's all wet. So I either gotta pull that out of there or I gotta wait for this to dry up. Hopefully this will dry up overnight, at least enough for me to pull that. I doubt it, but for now, parking the trailer here, and I'm gonna come back and resume this video once it's dried up enough for me to really work on it, because right now I'd just be getting soaked and I'm in tall grass and it wouldn't end well.
3 weeks later.
The old comp shell is looking a little rough sitting here in the weeds. Finally dried up enough to where this is no longer under 2 inches of water, so I can finally work on it. But she's a bit messy, at least where the sun could get, the grass could grow. Need to get this thing on some cinder blocks so I can start working on putting this thing together. I can't tell if that's bent or just how it's supposed. I think that's just how it's supposed to be. I think it purposely comes out at a little bit of a kink right there. I don't think it's bent. Like I said, I was told this was a clean shell, so, and it looks clean. It looks fine. All right, got the car up on cinder blocks, nice and safe and secure. And now we get to start on the fun part, which is getting this out. Basically what we're gonna do, drop these old crusty stuffs out the way, probably rip off a bunch of the extra stuff that's junk anyways, horns, etc. that's coming out. Same over here. All this is coming out. It's all garbage. Drop that out. Slide the new suspension underneath. Bring it up. Bolt it in. But first these got to come out. And we got to put the Maximum Motorsports caster camber plates on order to bolt the coilovers all together and make it nice. And that's a little bit of a process because you got to actually cut the hole a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and do it now using my electric jigsaw. While I'm here, might as well. We also have to drill a fourth hole. But you can see there is some damage to it. As I alluded to earlier, it almost looks like these are bent a little bit, but I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure that's factory. But what is bent a lot of it is this front lower radiator support. You can see it kind of, I can give you a better view later, but I wasn't planning on using that anyways. It's kind of big, kind of bulky. What I do plan on doing is getting rid of this crash bar, cutting front of the crash bar off, plating that, and then welding bars out to replace this. Try to get some measurements, of course. But I'm also planning cutting it off right here and welding a plate in place and doing a U-channel support. Of course, we're using these rubber bushings to remount the radiator because Lord knows that I am not saving that bulky piece of garbage. Plus, I want to try and just give myself some more clearance for some things. I probably will eventually mount some wings off of this to mount like an oil cooler over here and a power steering cooler over there, so they're taking cold air in, not warm air from the radiator, but that's besides the point. So go ahead and start working on getting this front end to be a roller. Same thing over here. Garbage! You know, for a strut, I don't think I'm supposed to be able to push it down with one hand. Just like that. No sweat. And then it slowly goes right back up. Barely. You almost gotta pick it up to get it to come back out. Those are toast. Glad I'm not using them. Now to get the plates on. So I'm back working on the Mustang a day or two later. And I went ahead and already got this side of the strut tower modified, just to make sure I remember exactly how to do it. And as you can see, it's all trimmed out. If you come over here, you can see this is a stock strut tower that is completely uncut and unmodified. So this is your normal Maximum Motorsports caster camber plate bottom, and it would normally sit like a little something like that. And as you can see, there's a bunch of space off to the side here that's not used, and that's going to the inside. Well, when you have a drift angle kit on the car, you start having trouble with basically not being able to get enough rear caster and positive camber. And when you don't have enough of that, you start running into some weird geometry issues. So this helps with that. Now, this isn't illegal this is not legal in most comps like Pro-Am and above, but for what I'm doing, it is perfectly legal and fine to do. Because especially when half the time they don't even check for it, and it makes a very minimal difference. I'm not like moving the pickup point or anything like that. But if you look, also technically speaking, it is legal as long as it stays within the center point of these 3 rings, which would be somewhere out here. So yeah. Anyways, what you do is you take your Maximum Motorsports caster camber plate, you take the driver's side and you rotate it 180. And you drill it out. Now normally you have to drill a 3rd hole here anyways, where you take the one off the other side and flip it upside down the mark, and I'll show you what I mean. But as you can see, I've got these remarks, so the notches to the inside and the top notch, inside notch, and I just marked the driver's side pointing that way, and that's always towards the engine bay. Normally it's supposed to be, like I said, like this. Rotate it 180, and when you poke it up through, what you do is you obviously drill your hole, and you cut that out. And by cutting that out, you now allow the whole strut tower to come this way more, which is more camber, and this way more, which adjusts for the too much positive caster from moving the lower control arm forward. So, if you look over here, where I've already drilled and cut, here's my passenger side one. Now when I was test fitting it, I took the driver's side and just flipped it over, because that's how you got to do it, because this isn't correct this way. As you can see, it sits too far that way when you flip it over. So you drive the opposite side and flip it over and use that as a top template. But now, when I set this in and all that's trimmed out, all this extra space you use. And you do clip the corner of that. Now you can see I drilled my hole a little wide. Basically, I just go to the edge of the slot here. So, in modifying this, it's pretty simple. I have my driver's side one here. As you see, I marked a D on it. I highly recommend marking it, just so you have something to go off of. You're not guessing every single time. I just use a Sharpie on it, and this is actually a Sharpie from the last time I did it on the old car. I took my driver's side plate. If you look, it lines up all 3 holes except for back here where I got a drill. So, if you take your passenger side plate, you flip it upside down, you will see all the bolt holes line up with each other, along with the actual holes on top. So you use your passenger side sample out on your driver's side upside down so you can mark the top, and vice versa to get your marks. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off. I'm going to move this, and this is kind of in my way, so I'm going to get it out of the way. Take this. Now I'm trying to get the maximum amount. You can go to the center of the holes. What I do is I move it all the way to the outer edge, as you can see, and then I mark it. Ta-da! Alrighty, as you can see, our passenger side plate flipped over, fits perfectly. Take the driver's side plate, go up underneath. Wants to play a little nicely. Normally it fits perfect. Obviously the plates have slight differences, so I might need to go on this hole just a touch more. Obviously, try not to Swiss cheese this too much because it is a structural area, but again, ain't got to be the most perfectest thing. But you can see I drilled it out a little bit more, gave me room, and now plate's in. And you can see how we see the back edge of the plate here, but all this over here is not taken up. Now, if you aren't running a forward blower controller that's forward offset, do not do this, because you are going to have way too much of adjustments you don't need and not enough of adjustments you do need. But because I have a forward offset lower control arm, kind of need the extra camera. So this is back to my passenger plate, going back on top, sliding it back through. You see all the area we are not using. So I'm going to take my marker and mark that. And you want to make sure you mark it real nice and good. Push the plate over so you're maxed out against the holes. There's that. Now what you're going to do is, I prefer to use a body saw because it can get in there better. But you can use what I'm about to use, which is a jigsaw. You see, the problem is you got this ridge right here, and that makes it want to hit the edge of the jigsaw and not want to actually cut. Body saw is just straight up and down. It's a lot easier to just plunge and get in there. But this is not my shop, and I don't have air, nor do I have my body saw equipped to work out here. So a fresh jigsaw with a metal blade it is. And you are going to cut just ever so slightly the corner of this hole. Ta-da! Now you can take your little die grinder in there and smooth it out, but you get the point of the process. And if you don't think it fits, here's your proof. And if you think you're a little shallow in any place, you can come back through and clean it off, but I think we're pretty good. So that is how you do that. And of course, you take your plate, and obviously I don't have the washers that go in between it and the plate. This is just a demonstration purpose, but that goes down like that. So, and now you got a crap ton more room over here. You can move it this way a lot more, so on and so forth. So, both caster camera plates are on. But it's a hot floor today, so next step is getting the front suspension out of there, underneath, bolted up. I don't feel like doing that right now. That's gonna be a Sunday thing, so I will pick it up then. All right, suspension's out of the trailer. Gotta worry about getting it kind of slid and lined up and in. And once it's up and in, we can bolt it, take the center blocks out and drop it. And the car will be a roller, at least on the front end, but it won't have a steering shaft, so it'll be moving the wheels by hand because the interior is grody, and I want to take it over and pressure wash it out and rip all the garbage out that's filthy in there because it's disgusting. But yeah, we're gonna get this in first. So thanks to my lovely father, who helped me get in the jack and stuff, I've got it kind of jacked up in position where it goes. It's a little out of alignment, it needs to be adjusted, obviously. You can see the big gap over there compared to over here. The whole thing's kind of rotated in it right now, so I gotta rotate it back. But before I can do that, what I gotta do is I gotta go through and see how I've got the keepers on this side. This bolt thing right here, it is missing from over here, and both of them are gone. So I gotta go grab those off the old car. Once I grab those off the old car, swap everything over. Well, not swap everything over. Once I get those off the old car, bolt those two bolts up, kind of get the K-member pretty close to square. I'll probably go through and re-square it once I have it back in the shop. This is just kind of get rolling. It's also gonna rub on the coilovers a lot of bit because of the coilover mods brings it out, but of course you have to clearance this in here, and I'll be showing that, but right now goal is just to make it a roller. All right, so all the bolts are on tight, everything's good to go there, coilovers are tight. I'm gonna pull the other center block out. Car is going to sit down on the front suspension for the first time in the last 4 years that I know of. Oh, this shell, I should say. Beautiful. Beautiful. The front end is a roller. A very stiff roller, a very low roller. All right, and we're back. It's time to get this thing put together so we can take it out and make the rest of a car roller. It's been about probably a month at least since that last clip you saw. So the front's been sitting out there ready to go. I've been waiting on getting this bad boy done. If you saw the last video that came out, you saw that we finished the Cobra IRS differential, getting it ready. Yeah, it's time to bolt everything together. So, fun. Let's get to it. Alright. GoPro's acting funky, so back to the iPhone. Got one axle here, over here, and the axles are same side to side. Plastic off of it real quick. As you can see, set back down, the diff looks good. Super happy with how it turned out. So, get the axles in, it's gonna be satisfying. Lubricating with a little bit of gear oil, you know, working the shaft. Let's try this again. The other one went in just fine. Was gonna make this a better clip here, but that thing is fucking up, so I think I gotta get rid of the old GoPro and get something a little better. So that's that, but knocking out the next side, but all this is torqued together. I got it set at max positive camber, which I assume is what I'm gonna need because squat under load, so on and so forth. I'm gonna put the toe link on still, but the axle is in. So she will rotate. If we spin the club here, spins that. So yeah, super excited to see this thing do its thing. So yeah, I've been having issues with the GoPro here, and I believe it just corrupted a bunch of footage, and I mean a lot of footage. I think part of me getting this diff back together is corrupted, and me finishing bolting everything else together is fully gone, like toast, to the point where I'm like kind of pissed, really pissed actually. Like fuck, I just put a bunch of effort, and as you can see, the finished product is pretty fantastic. If you're wondering what I'm shooting this on or why my hands are kind of wonky, I'm shooting on my iPhone. Regardless, it is together and fully ready to go into the car. I have the diff fully together with the 373 gears. The yoke on it is brand new, the one that had the seal issues. I got custom not custom, but hardware bought grade 8 9/16 by 4.5 bolts, which you can find along with the torque specs. Everything's torqued down with Loctite, so nothing is coming apart. I have brake rotors and stuff over there to put on it. I did design a dual caliper bracket for these knuckles, but that footage is all gone. I'm pretty sure, so I'm not even gonna make a video on it. I'll probably make a quick tidbit with what footage I do have once I actually have the brackets in hand. They're getting milled right now. I 3D printed prototypes. Controllers are. It's done. It's fully ready to go. I've got the feels on with the Cobra mounts together. They're not tight. Obviously, they got to come back on before I put them in the car. I've got the brackets repainted. They're ready to go. The toe link is on. The adjustable toe links are on and ready to go. Ready to rock and roll. They look straight to me. Obviously, once they're on the car, I'll have to take it to get in alignment. The only thing, it doesn't have fluid in it, but the axles are in. Everything's happy by the looks of it. Ready to rock and roll. Back with some plywood under the rear. If you saw the last video, you'd see that the rear suspension is done. I got my buddy Khalid coming over to help us get the rear end put in this thing. But first things first, I gotta actually go through and remove all the old 4-link stuff. So out with the old, in with the new. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Whoa. Slide that bitch under and get it out there. That wasn't too bad, was it?
Hey, we got it. That's all that matters.
Down from that bitch to the sounded all I do, so we good now. Roll this bitch under time. So fuck yeah. Alright. It's in for the most part. I got the 2 bolts in the front end. I gotta take them back out to ream the hole out for the bigger bolts, but I'll do that once I get the rear bracket bolts in, which are almost in. Thanks to Khalid.
That's how we do it, baby.
I gotta pry that one down just a little bit to get in the right slot. Tell me when you're through, buddy.
Keep going. Just a little bit more. And
Grab the drill from the other side and get started. Or hold on. Let me jack it up a little bit. Let's send her home.
All the way?
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, that's tight. Sweet. Sweet, sweet. She's in. Ugh.
Now we're torches on the gram.
Let's fucking go, bub.
Uh-huh.
Alright, I'm back swapping the grade 8 or class 10 bolts out. The stock ones for the 9/16. You can see it's almost dark out, but here's the bolt. And it's been a pain in the butt because it's Cobra suspension. This is the front of it. It's not like to line up with this hole. But I finally drove it through. My nut's giving me a little bit of trouble, but I think it's just from driving it through. It's good to go. I gotta do that side. I'm gonna do it in the daylight tomorrow instead of right now in the dark. But yeah, it's in. This side's in. I gotta torque it to spec, but like I said, I'll do that later. It's getting late and I'm tired. This is probably the best shot you've got of it in the daytime. But as you saw in the last clip last night, we got the bigger 9/16 bolt. Let me see if I can find it right there. Put in. Gotta do it on the other side. Once the other side is in, torque those to spec, torque the back two bolts to spec, put the coilovers in and bolt the top of the coilovers down in the car. Once those are bolted down, we're good to go. So I'm gonna crack a lacking because I want to get this thing rolling within the next hour or two, because it's finally where I got a full day. I'm not working on it after work. So rock and roll. All right, torque to spec. Couldn't get the torque wrench into those bolts, so I just went to the German torque spec of Ugga Dugga, or Guten Tight as it's colloquially known. But yeah, so coilover time. All right, they're on, coilovers are in, the suspension is together. So I'm gonna throw the brake rotors and spacers on, get the wheels bolted on, and roll this bitch out of here. So I got the right wheel on here. And as you can see on the left side, I got the spacer and the brake rotor all bolted on. So I want to go grab the other wheel, put this on and lower this, and I'll finally be rolling. I'm so happy with how this turns out. This is turning out though. Like, I knew it was gonna be good, but like, holy shit, this thing's gonna be a monster. Jack stands are out. Let's see how she sits down on her own. Ooh, buddy. She's mean, dude. It's on all four of its own wheels. This is weird to look at, man. Holy shit. Wow, that's really aggressive. That's really aggressive. Just the way it sits. Is there any... It's slightly towed in by the looks of it. On this side. What about this side? It could just be the wheel. And now they look slightly towed in. But, can I roll it? Holy shit, I can roll it. Wow. Cool. Cool, cool. It's sitting on all four of its own wheels, man. I am super fucking happy with that. So, yeah. The project only goes up from here. Only goes up from here. So, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully up next we'll be prepping it for the cage. It's only up from here, like I just fucking said, man. It's about to take off like a rocket ship. That is going to be a big improvement. And of course, having a cage and 200 more horsepower at least before I put a supercharger on it. Maybe one day, fingers crossed. But if you see something I did wrong, or want to tell me how I'm a fucking idiot, put it down in the comments below. Give it a like. It always helps with the algorithm we're all beholden to. And give me a subscribe if you want to see more. I'll catch y'all in the next one.